Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, folks, and we're going to continue our discussion on immigration. And so, again, I promise you, I'm going to throw probably another stick of dynamite and talk about this a little bit. And so, I guess I'm really going to get the crowd out there in the comments going with this. So, we talked about how immigration coming from Europe, right? And so, and a little bit about how that's different. And so, there's a Statue of Liberty in New York that's welcoming the immigrants from Europe, but there's no Statue of Liberty welcoming the immigrants from in the Gulf of Mexico, welcoming the immigrants from South America and Central America.
Exactly.
There's a difference, right? And so there's not one off the coast of Florida welcoming the Haitian immigrants, the Jamaican immigrants, and the immigrants from Cuba and the Caribbean. And so there's two types of immigration in this country. And so if you're a rich programmer coming from New Delhi, you're welcome. But if you're a poor person from the slums of Mumbai, you're not. And so we do have two systems of immigration. So my personal take, and again, I'm going to throw this out there. I have no problem with immigration from Central America, folks, and this is the reason why, because it's the same monster that destroyed our community destroyed theirs. And so in the 80s, you have Reagan, or Saint Ronald is what he's referred to by the Republicans.
Yeah.
Saint Reagan. So we all remember the 80s, and we all remember the Iran-Contra affair. Mm-hmm. And we all remember the names involved: McFarland and North and Poindexter and the whole crew. Yeah. And so they went down there and they destroyed those countries, right? They destroyed those countries, and they did it at the same time destroying our communities by putting the drugs in our communities to buy weapons for the Contras. And so what they did was what America always does. After they destroyed those countries, they left them. Same thing they did in Afghanistan. They didn't build a school, a road, a hospital, a clinic, or nothing, right? And so now you have the results of that was they left weak institutions in power, and you have the gangs that are taking over. And so as a parent, I'd walk 1,000 miles to keep my children safe too.
Absolutely.
We all would.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we talk about that, I have no problem with immigrants from Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Costa Rica, none of the Central American countries coming up here, because we owe that to them. We destroyed their country fighting communists.
But here's the problem, Caleb, is we don't have a system to figure out how to handle the mere volume of people that are coming.
But you know what? That's America's problem. That's America's fault. Because you can't destroy that country and leave the weapons in place, leave the people, you left a lot of bad people in place. If you remember, you remember the 80s, those were the people who were killing nuns and lining up the Sandinista soldiers and executing them. Those were the people that were on our side. Those were the good guys. And so we left that there. And so the results of that were the MS-13 gangs. And the result of that, or what you see right now, is they can't deal with those people. They can't deal with the gangs. They can't deal with the arms. We know that we didn't build schools, clinics, any kind of institutions. And so those people are migrating up here for a better life. And so the idea that we're going to destroy their country, destroy their institutions, not give them a way to make a living, destroy their farms, and then tell them, oh, no, you can't come here. No, you reap what you sow. You understand what I'm saying? The same thing with Haiti.
Yeah.
We embargoed Haiti, we along with France, and now we want to turn them around. But no, we have to reap what we sow. So I don't care. Bring 10,000 boatloads of Haitians here and open the door. America has to reap what it sow, and I can't wait for your comments.
And also, we can give, Ukraine, what is it, another?
Yeah, Ukraine.
$40 billion.
Yeah.
But we can't use that money to assist those folks who are trying to come into this country for a better life. And please don't buy that domino theory crap.
No.
They ran that during Vietnam. Well, if Vietnam falls, then so it's the Philippines. Pretty soon it'll be in the United States. Now we're here. Well, if Ukraine falls, then they're going to Poland and Germany. And now we're doing business with Vietnam.
Yeah.
Don't buy that domino theory.
We welcome the Ukrainians in.
So the question to me is, can't we balance it? I'm not saying turn our back on Ukraine, but can't we have to give them all that money? Can't we use some money for those people coming in to this country, trying to find a better life? Trying to find a better, I think that Statue of Liberty should jump in the ocean and swim back to France.
Yeah, or either say what it really means out there. You know what I mean? Give us your poor as long as they have blonde hair and blue eyes. You know what I mean?
You know, the whole thing is we've got colonizers who aren't good at colonizing. And any type of colonization policy that they've had has really blown up, as you say, in their face. And the whole thing is that they started something that they have no control over. And we're only seeing what's happening on the surface. There's also immigration coming in through the various underground tunnels as well. And they don't have any way of stopping that as well. So we have a group of politicians who don't know what the heck they're doing, and it's causing havoc on a lot of communities, and it's causing havoc on the Black community as well.
But I think one thing that I want our viewers to know and to understand is that the immigration problem that America is having is not unique to just America. There are other countries around the world, in Europe and different places like that, who are also dealing with the same problem. So I think we're seeing somewhat of a shift in population where people are moving around and they're doing it in masses. And as Fred was talking about, people trying to get a better life and coming to us. You know, I don't know what to do. You know, we can't, I guess, declare war on Mexico and say we don't want your
The Republicans want to.
They want yeah.
They've talked about what bombing Mexico and a few other things. They've talked about.
I'm a Republican.
You are a Republican.
And when we talk about the immigration coming in from the South, you know, one of the things you said that there are Latinos. No, not all of them Latinos, because you have a lot of Haitians and other folks who are coming in through the Latin countries up with the other immigrants. Because I was watching, so we got to make sure we understand that the bulk of them might be Latino, but we had a lot of Black folks also in there.
Dr. Sharon, I think the Black people come in through the South border, okay? The Latinos come in through the Mexican border. The white folks come in by airplane.
So no, they and to touch on Professor Williams' point, they all of Europe opened the door for Ukraine. The U.S. has opened the door for Ukraine. They're not turning them away, and a lot of it is demographics. And so here's a fresh pool of white folks.
And now watch. We're going to send a ton of money to Israel because of what happened today with the bombing. Palestinians bombed Israel. And now Netanyahu has declared war.
Right.
And so watch, all those folks up there say, oh, we got to give Israel more money.
Right.
And already we're giving them a ton of money.
Yeah, Israel doesn't need money. And so, Netanyahu is always, he's been at war. Every time he's taken office, he's been at war. And if he hasn't been at war, he's instigated one. And so he is he's a dictator in the worst sense. But and to touch a little bit about Chris's point, and European, it is going on. Immigration. And so the same thing. We watch immigration. We watch them welcome Ukraine with open arms, blankets, food. They're taking them in. People are making room in their houses. But
they're pushing out the Africans.
Right. But when it comes to the people from the Middle East or Europe, Europe is pushing them out. Hell, they made Britain, immigration was the chief reason that the UK left the EU. You know what I mean? Because they didn't want to have to open their borders to take in the immigrants. And so it was an immigration issue that caused the UK to leave the EU.
So
That's
I think you're making a point. I think you're making a point that immigration is racist.
It is, and that's our show.
Right.
But also, don't I'll throw this out to you all. Don't you think white America is concerned about people of color becoming the majority?
Yes.
And they no longer will be
That's
that
how
majority?
that's
Well, let me ask this, Brad, what can they do about it?
They can take in more people from Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing about it.
They can do what they're trying to do, close the border. I mean, my editorial this week in our paper is going to be about Biden. He sees the polls are showing that he's losing bad on the immigration. So what does he do
Gonna
yesterday?
go rebuild the wall.
He's going to build the wall.
Continue
He's gonna
Trump's policy.
Build the wall.
Yep.
Yeah. So he caved because in 2021 he said, "I will not build the wall." But he looked at those polls and said, uh-oh,
Yeah.
maybe I better
We
build
gotta-
the wall. And they used some bogus excuse that
Yeah.
they had to spend the money.
We had
on the
it's
wall.
already
Yeah.
funded. Yeah.
So let me say something that's controversial. Caleb and I talked about this, but I'm going to give it out to the viewers.
Well, hold on. I was just listening. We weren't talking about it. I was just listening. So, go.
Look, I think that there's a unique opportunity where America, especially, Texas especially, can put some of these folks to work in a lower status than what regular America has. They would only do this for a certain period of time as they gain access to come into the major United States. But what that does for us, that allows for all of those companies that are going now to China. You say two things. Number one, we're going to let you build and have those assembly plants in this area. And in addition to that, you're also going to say, we're going to put money into Mexico. We're going to put money into Nicaragua. Some places, you know, I'm sure they don't want to do because of the politics. But my point is that the same way that they've built these auto manufacturing places outside of the United States.
Do it here.
Yeah.
Do it here.
Well, maybe not always do it here. It can be done both. But I'm saying take some of those people and put them to work out there because now we got a problem. We got to figure out how to solve it.
Well, are you saying instead of sending the work to Mexico, build the facility and let those people come over
I'm
here
saying both.
and work at a...
I'm saying both.
See,
Right.
you brought up a good point because during all these strikes, we got when the auto industry was on strike.
They still are.
They still are? Okay. It's the writer strike. So auto industry strike. The longer it lasts, the more I can see that the powers to be in that industry was saying, well, look, we got all these immigrants. Let's go ahead and do what you're saying, pay them at a lower price.
But now you can, in my opinion, you can't take one of those people who are working at a lower price and put them next to the person who's making a higher price. You know, I don't see that working. I see them being separate, working their way. We're trying to give them a job, give them something to do as they work their way to America. They're becoming citizens that are productive.
About time is coming. Okay, nothing.
Are we so closing thoughts? Doc,
It ain't gonna be fixed.
it ain't gonna be fixed.
The Statue of Liberty needs to swim back to France because this country does not believe what the Statue of Liberty was saying. That was only for white people coming from Europe. It's not for people of color, especially Haitians or dark-skinned people like us. They don't want them in this country because they are fearful of the fact that they will become a minority, and they're fearful when they become a minority, they will be treated the way they have treated other people for 200 years.
Uh-oh, there it is, folks. there it is.
Elections are coming up next year. And me being a Democrat, I think we want to increase our numbers in both houses and retain the presidency. However, as I said before, two things that we're going to have to deal with. One is going to be, of course, the deficit, which we're not going to talk about today. But the other one is the immigration issue. And I think that, you know, from my standpoint, do something. Okay? Do something. Don't just sit back and do nothing. If the wall is what you got to do, the wall is what you got to do. But if that's not working, go to something else because we've got to find a solution for this and we need to find it soon. And Democrats, you need to be the one to do it.
All right, there you go, folks. We have an answer for you. Is immigration racist? It seems like the consensus has been yes. And so with that said, thank you for joining us today. And we look forward to your comments and stay tuned for Hot Topics. We're going to be talking about Puffy and Tupac. So please stay tuned for Hot Topics. This has been a fantastic show today. And thank you for joining us. Take care.